Namaskar, my dear friends. This is second video on the teachings of Devraha Baba. This is second video, and it starts with talk number is the teaching number 139. When mind is diverted from everything and concentrated only upon God, then comes the sense of sadhana, spiritual practice, perform rituals, etc. And in this and following incarnations, all of desires are purified. Teaching 140. Man rituals that were performed in the past incarnation ensures a meeting with a good spiritual teacher in this life. Otherwise, it is very hard to receive a good spiritual teacher. 141. It is hard to achieve renunciation of sensual pleasures, direct experience of the soul, and Sahajavastha, supreme state that has become natural and constant without the grace of spiritual teacher. 142. A word or name liberating from ignorance is called mantra. Thus, under the influence of mantra, and accelerated by it, human life becomes what it should be like. 143. There are three important kinds of faith: faith in oneself, self confidence, faith in God, and faith in the grace of God. 144. God is creator, not me, and all belongs to him, not to me. As this will penetrate your consciousness, self will retreat. 145. The most sacred place for pilgrimage, the most sacred place for pilgrimage is your own soul. It doesn't accept gifts from anyone, while is content with what it gets conditioned by achievements in past incarnations. 146. With this memory, the soul becomes mature. Meditation helps to enforce this memory. That's why meditation is also considered to be one of the types of yoga, as well as dhyana samadhi. 147. In the field of bhakti, dhyana samadhi is all, because a single moment of dhyana samadhi brings infinite delight, which is even more than that which is achieved in yoga samadhi. Also in the field of bhakti memories, continuous remembrance or memory repeating time after time is a necessary element of meditation. That is, it is a primarily form of love. As the love of God is developing, feelings start to balance, and gradually there will be no slightest hint of the difference between the meditating person and the object of meditation. In this balanced state, your breath will also slow down and will become regular. This is called Bhava Samadhi. In this state comes a liberation from the false identification of self with the body. 148. My son, such is the sequence of earthly lives. Love of God is developed through meditation. Then develops a desire to receive it. Further, one finds himself under the influence of anger, extreme ignorance. This brings memory into ignorance. Ignorance of memory causes destruction of intelligence, followed by complete destruction. But all of above mentioned states are only possible when there is desire of benefits received from the object of worship, that is not a desire for the object itself, Visankarvirti, but to the benefits that it brings, Phalakarvirti. I am telling that if there is only Yearning for the object of worship, then even the greatest sinner can receive freedom from reincarnation. Because in Visekar Virti, there is only the game of senses, whereas in Falakar Virti, there is desire for benefits and their utilization. Naturally, Baba meant that it is out of question lust, feelings, memories, meditation, etc. should not even mention benefit. Computing benefit means the end of Visayakar Virti. You should keep commitment to your spiritual teacher or God. Remember, practice meditation, cherish love, but do not consider any benefit in these activities. 149. Baba continues, those beasts and birds which, like the saints, adhere to Vishakarvirti are better than modern men. Vishakarvirti means that meditation is merely concentrating upon the object and nothing more. Neither concern for the body nor worry for the words in mantra and their meaning. There are only memories, continuous memories, memory of the image, name, and nothing else. 150. The body, breath, and mind become whole. This is Vishekar Virti. 151. There may be a question. Vishekar Virti is free from concentration upon benefit, but still there are desires. Sri Baba says, yes, my son, it is impossible to fully eradicate desires as they may appear in the form of a phala shakti, desire to use benefits results. 152. There are two ways to stop them. The first way is yoga, the second one is bhakti. In yoga, the object loses its qualities by merging into tripti, tried observers, sight, object. This eradicates desires as well. 153. In bhakti, there is the following. The true nature of the object is separated from it. The object of worship disappears, but the attachment to it cannot disappear. Gita says, Nirharasya dehin, dehinaha visayaha vinisvartante sarvadarjanam, which means by separating the true nature from the object of worship, the soul continues to enjoy its benefit. 154. In this case, to the best of one's ability, it is necessary to separate body and mind. That is no need to concentrate upon neither physical needs nor any of its particular activities. As in both of the above mentioned cases, mind develops attachment to the body. 155. If your mind will be directed towards the object of meditation like the thick stream of oil, then it will separate from the body on its own and cause Kevala Kumbha, sudden breath holding without prior inhale or exhale. Asana, pose, position, or ability to perform pranayama, regulation, and control of breathing are yet another ways to stop activity of the body. This practice of bhakti is called Kriya Yoga. 156. Thus, when Ishta or the object of worship becomes the center of all desires, there will appear the ability for recollection of memories and meditation. When all of desires and activities are put under control, what is left is knowledge, which is for bhakti, the form of aspiration for the image of God. 157. My son, there are four stages to reach bhakti: name, image, lila, divine games, and dharana. Pious way of life, as written in the scriptures. In the majority of bhakti trends, these stages possess a great significance. 158. You need help of faith and trust for your spiritual activity. Thus, a spiritual teacher is also an important link at the first stage of spiritual activity. While you are reading the mantra given by the spiritual teacher, you have to go fully and deeply into the image of your spiritual teacher. In order to do this, you need a keen vision of a talented artist. 159. The proof of stable attention in meditation is what is in the kingdom of mind of sadhaka. 1. The main start is meditation of Guru Leela of the works of spiritual teacher. Second, at the second stage of spiritual activity, feelings started to melt. A feeling of attachment to Leela is developed. Imagination ceases. 3. At the third stage of spiritual activity, one experiences the state of bliss. 4. At the fourth stage, Samarpana emerges, gifting, offering, handing in, that is, entrusting one's property to God, and the feeling of love of Ishta. 160. Life energy in the state of spiritual meditation should be directed inwards self, which will care development of sattva guna and turn a self to the quiescent state. Ego of the ordinary sadhaka submerges into the life energy, which causes development of imagination and also the ability to glorify the name of God. 161. A union of the soul and God is the final goal of bhakta. Achieving it without the grace of spiritual teacher is impossible, either in the past or in the present or in the future. 162. When mind is concentrated, then by cognition and thought, cognition is the simple form of thought, it becomes stable. 163. In the field of bhakti, communication with other bhaktand, regular studies of Veda also teach cognition and thought. 164. Shankaracharya writes about the rules of meditation. You should make your mind stronger by keeping it at the point of concentration. You should control your feelings, keeping your body motionless. Do not worry about its desires or needs. What use is there in vain talk? 165. It has long become the custom. If a weapon is used for good, this is not considered to be a sin. Thus, if a soldier who fights at the border has killed several people, he is not regarded to be a killer. Quite the contrary, he is honored as a hero. However, if somebody uses this weapon to kill, he is considered to be a sinner. 166. Only an objective but not a subjective view of things give understanding of their true nature. 167. What can one refuse in the world? Desire of wealth and lust? What is worthy of being in the body? Energy? If there is so much pleasure in bursting it out, you should think of how much more pleasure should be contained in keeping it inside. Energy is life. When it disappears, it is death. 168. Of all the ways to free from the three sins of the material world, meditating upon the names of God is the most simple and accessible. Namaya Deva Sarasam Siddhantam Sarvada Shivam. 169. Only meditation of the wise man makes possible control over feelings and finding Paramatma. 170. When you do your daily duty thinking about Sri Narayana at every moment, you can find God. 171. Listen, my son. With regard to other mantra, Shastra doesn't allow those who are in the state of asocha, desecration of a state of the family after childbirth or a death of a close relative. In this case, They cannot touch strangers and involve into charitable work for some time. To read them aloud or to themselves instead of benefit, this will only cause harm. But this doesn't cover celebration of the name of Mantradi, Mantradaji, the king of Mantra, Lord Hari. The name of God Sri Narayana should be glorified, hands raised and so loud to make those who chant and who listen experience the state of bliss. You can consider the name of God in any position, as the sun doesn't need help to clear the dark, and tiger doesn't need help to catch its prey. So sadhaka topaka has a birth. So sadhake has a birth-given ability to glorify the names of God. 172. Kali Yuga cannot enter the house in which the names of God are continuously celebrated. 173. In each house, when Bhakta lives, glorify the name of God together with him and his family. When you do this, faith and of love of God will grow inside of you, as well as mercy, purity, composure, patience, sense of equilibrium, tolerance, kindness, knowledge, austerity, modesty, and other virtues. 174. When a man repeats the name of God, he is liberated from reincarnation, but when he sings them aloud, he receives the right to set free the whole universe from it. That is why you should always repeat Sri Rama, Jai 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 Rama. 175. Self is disposed to deception and lies. It controls feelings and all are under its power. It is the root of material progress and ever increasing desires. Through senses, it introduces all of material things to the soul, inducting it to partake of them, and thus making it similar to oneself. Even if mind has potential to control feelings as it is the commander in chief, it has its weapon which is the spiritual activity. However, if self is corrupted, the king is corrupted, then it breaks away and overrides not only sense but also mind and soul as a king and commander in chief and causes their suffering in the material world. 176. As in time a pauper becomes a millionaire if he systematically gathers coin one by one, so in time sadhak gains control over self and achieves samadhi in the grace of his spiritual teacher through and through regular practice. 177. Under the guidance of a spiritual teacher, it is possible to correct self when self is under control. Feeling also comes under control. Yoga Shastra says, as with the help of practice, self comes into a quiescent state. So breath, speech, body, and look also quiet down. 178. Listen, my son. When his heart beat is for Ishta, then sadhak receives the ability to day and night concentrate upon him, meditate at him, and acquires the knowledge of intimacy with him. Such a devoted bhakta finds God very soon. 179. Make service to God with the feeling of dasya. Dasya is one of the variations of bhakti. When the believer considers himself to be slave to the worshipped deity, trust him with the feeling of Shakhi. The believer considers himself friend to the worshipped deity. Love him as a gopi, girls, shepherdess, girlfriends of Krishna and his most devoted servants. Undertake all of the material actions only for him and his satisfaction. 180. Devoted service brings knowledge. Knowledge is the result of devoted service. 181. Always rest under protection of God. Be devoted only to Him. 182. Jnani has to renounce the whole world. Then he achieves supreme bliss. 183. Bhakta is constantly in the state of being. He keeps his emotions. 184. In practice, Jnani does everything, but as he experiences the feeling of Sakhi, he has to apply own efforts to cross the ocean of the existence. Gita says, Jnani, mind is in balance, considers that Vasudeva, one of the names of God, Narayana, is all and all is in him. Sarvam iti. 185. My son, Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavatam, God, Narayana or Hari, appearing as a whole from the point of view of substance are a ternary system from the point of view of perception, or when the sun of knowledge rises in the mind of sadhaka, the light of God penetrates him. This is Brahma. 6. When it is an accumulation of light, like Visvarupa, cosmic form variety that includes all forms, that penetrates the soul of sadhaka, then it is called Paramatma. Both Brahma and Paramatma are parts of Bhagavata Tattva, divine essence, existence of God. When Brahma appears in his form of a Virata macrocosm, physical world which we see, God in his form of revealed universe, all of this is Bhagavan. 186. Through devoted service to God, finding jnana and yoga becomes possible on itself. 187. From the point of view of one who has form, God is Bhagavan. From the point of view of one who has no form, God is Paramatma. And from the point of view of knowledge, he is Brahman. 188. Bhakta naturally receives knowledge and impartiality as his thoughts are always turned into one and only direction. He who impedes suffering is always by his side. 189. Delight is a distinctive feature of this supreme power. Delight is Brahma. It is from delight that all living beings appear. Having come into life, they live, experience delight and die, submerging back into bliss. 190. The wise man measured the field of rice. He has left behind laziness and disputes. The wise man gained memory and happiness. He has left behind all anxieties. He prays, he says, let the all forgiving grant patience. Let self be eradicated. Let lie disappear. Let it be only truth. Let mind rest in balance. Body rest in the material world. Whereas the soul is near Lord Hari, material benefits always bring suffering. Let the universe rest in the state of a dream. Let the name of Lord Hari be in the state of wakefulness. 191. Question. Why Baba pays more attention to the rich, to those who hold high positions and are more influential? The matter is that those who have more stick harder in material needs, those are sick most of all, and those who are sick more than the rest should get help first. 192. My son, there are three kinds of karma. Sanchita, total amount of all actions performed during past incarnations. Prarabdha, a part of Sanchita which determines the present life. Kriyamana, what has been done, the fact of actions of the present life that will be received in the future. Everything that we have done is accumulating. This is a sanchita. Those fruits of sanchita karma which are have ripened and become destiny are called prarabdha. In order to live our destiny, we are predetermined with our bodies and lifespan. Besides those fruits of actions in the past lives, which have not ripened yet in this life in the form of destiny, also appear as sanchita. Thus, prarabdha is what accompanies us and the fruits of which we enjoy. However, sanchita is like money which is kept in the treasury and comes into circulation when the near source runs dry. In these three types of karma, there are two varieties, that is the bad and the good one. Those whose prarabdha karma can be called good, prosperous, even if their kriyamana seeds prickle for their future. On the contrary, those whose prarabdha karma can be called bad experience suffering and sorrows, destroying their innate abilities. 193. Desire to find freedom from suffering sooner or later brings Paramatma, which brings revelation from the sins of hundreds, thousands of incarnations. Notable that in front of Sri, the sins of hundreds, thousands of incarnations are also obliterated, having received protection of God. Baba himself has said, "Speak, my son, the world of samsara has been left behind. You stand in front of Rama, Janaki, Lakshman and Hanuman." In addition to the fact that he himself has destroyed hundreds, thousands of sins, the spiritual teacher has maintained the ability to turn others to God, along with the infinite grace to help momentarily leave behind the world of samsara in one moment. 194. Yogi sees this life in the heart as a garland of lights and perceives it as penetrating everywhere, managing all. 195. With the help of Prema Bhakti, it is possible to always see God everywhere and in all possible forms. 196. In reality, there is no significant difference between Jnana and Bhakti. The supreme point of jnana is bhakti and the supreme point of bhakti is jnana. 197. Even to Mahatmas, Sri Baba told that they break prarabdha exactly when they experience it, but because they are free from the bonds of karma, they also break free from kirja mana and 21. 197. Their good sanchita karma is shared by their admirers, while the bad one is shared by their ill wishers. Thus, either sanchita or prarabdha do not appear anymore. 198. Bringing evidence to prove existence of sanchita karma, Sri Baba says that in the time of King Dhritarashtra, the blind king hero of Maharashtra, the kingdom suffered from famine in his garden. He created 100 cooked eggs out of laughter and fed the hungry neighbors. As a result, in his present life, he was blind, and 100 of his sons died. As a result, each of them had to pass 100 reincarnations. 199. Those unworthy scriptures which are about to appear in the future will disappear forever from the sight of God. 200. My son, if you constantly keep your heart connected to the name of God, and then undoubtedly you will see the divine light. Do not have doubt about it. Repetition of the names of God is like learning and then mastering the ride on a bicycle. First man has trouble less, but when he learns then traversing in the mob, he even gives a ride for the others and doesn't have any inconvenience getting experience. He easily teaches his goal. Under the influence of repeating the names of God, everything which is bad leaves your heart and all of troubles leave your worldly life. 201. My son, there is salt in each drop of water in the somber lake. The impersonal form of Dharma, Nirankara. Nirakara is the same. When salt is extracted from water, then its personal form appears. Sakara, there is no difference between Nirguna, one that has no attributes or qualities, and Saguna. The matter is merely about understanding. 201. Listen, my son, if you take a look at the denomination, this is merely a paper. Acquires value only when it is marked with a government sign. Marks contain value but not the paper. Similarly, the statue of God acquires value only when it is filled with life. Then it is considered to be the form of God. However, if the statue is broken, this will not cause God to disappear. It is also true that the sky will never disappear. 203. Sri Baba said thus about this stolen, that is, stealthily picked flowers. Today you desired flowers and you picked these flowers. Tomorrow you will desire something else. Those flowers that you picked were not yours. Do you think that God doesn't see that you picked them for Him? But how can He be satisfied with this? God is omnipresent. Each of our deeds to present flowers to God is dharma, righteous behavior, as assigned in the scriptures, faith, religion. But you should never present Him with the stolen flowers. This is the essence of dharma. 204. A man seems to be free and powerful, but if you think, you will realize that he doesn't exist at all. The whole existence is Brahma, as it is his will that generates existence of every soul. Then there is no sense in considering that you creator. That's why Lord Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, the hero of Mahabharata, son of King Pandu, friend of Krishna, all of them are already dead. You be only the executor. 5 years report Yogasana. 197. Their good sanchita karma is shared by their admirers, while the bad one is shared by their ill-wishers. Thus, either sanchita or prarabdha do not appear anymore. 198. Bringing evidence to prove existence of sanchita karma, Sri Baba says that in the time of King Dhritarashtra, the blind king hero of Maharashtra, the kingdom suffered from famine. In his garden, he created 100 cooked eggs out of laughter and fed the hungry neighbors. As a result, in his present life, he was blind and 100 his sons died. As a result, each of them had to pass 100 incarnations. 199. Those unworthy scriptures which are about to appear in the future will disappear from the sight of God. 200. My son, if you constantly keep your heart connected to the name of God, and then undoubtedly you will see the divine light. Do not have doubt about it. Repetition of the names of God is like learning and then mastering the ride on a bicycle. First man has troubles, but when he learns, then traversing in the mob, he even gives a ride for the others and doesn't have any inconvenience getting experience, easily reaches his goal under the influence of repeating the names of God. Everything which is bad leaves your heart, and all of troubles leave your worldly life. 201. My son, there is salt in each drop of water in the somber lake. The impersonal form of Brahma, Niskarma, is the same. When salt is extracted from water, then its personal form appears Sakara. There is no difference between Nirguna. One has no attributes or qualities, and Saguna, the matter is merely about understanding. 202. Listen, my son, if you take a look at the denomination, this is merely a paper. It acquires value only when it is marked with a government sign. Marks contain values but not the paper. Similarly, the statue of God acquires value only when it is filled with life, when it is considered to be the form of God. However, if the statue is broken, this will not cause God to disappear. It is also true that the sky will never disappear. 203. Sri Baba said that thus about the stolen, that is still freely picked up flowers. Today you desire flower and you picked these flowers. Tomorrow you will desire something as those flowers that you picked were not yours. Do not think that God doesn't see that you picked them for Him. But how can He be satisfied with this? God is omnipresent. He sees each of our deeds. To present flowers to God is dharma, righteous behavior as assigned in the scriptures, faith, religion. But you should never present Him with the stolen flowers. This is the essence of dharma. 204. A man seems to be free and powerful, but if you think, you will realize that he doesn't exist at all. The whole existence is Brahma, as it is his will that generates existence of every soul. Then there is no sense in considering that you creator. That is why Lord Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, the hero of Mahabharata, son of King Pandu, friend of Krishna, all of them are already dead. You be only the executor. Mahabandha, sit in a comfortable meditative posture, Padmasana or Siddhasana. If you have difficulty sitting in these asanas, then sit in any easy cross-legged. Keep the So the teachings of Devraha Baba are over, and I end this video here. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot, my dear friends. Namaskar.